When I was elected, I promised to work in 5 areas. One of them is transparency, making government accessible, really trying to become more of a people's mayor. And so this is Town Hall is part of that. Public safety is clearly another priority. Working with the schools, I've had my first joint cabinet meeting with the city leadership and the school district leadership meeting together to see how we can work better together. And we're going to continue to do that probably every other month for a while. We are also looking at jobs. And I have to tell you, about 4 blocks from here, I met a young man on a really cold winter afternoon. And he said to me, "Ma'am, you know, if I had a job, I wouldn't be selling drugs." And I believe him. So jobs are a key thing. And keeping Oakland green, and in this area, that's why we invited the port, the issues of environment, the issues of lead in the air, the asthma rates in this community, making Oakland green and making this part of Oakland as green and beautiful as any other part of Oakland is absolutely critical. So we're going today in the small breakout groups, look at that. Those are the things I pledged to do. I'm going to end it here and just turn this over to my colleague, Nancy Nadel, and then I'm going to go over the schedule real quickly. We're going to break in small groups by category and interest group. We're going to come back for report out, and then we're going to have some open mic if you need to make comments in addition to that. But we want to make sure that everybody is heard. And so that's why we're breaking in small groups and we're recording your comments today. Nancy.
Good morning, everybody. I really want to thank everyone for coming out. We've had such cold weather. Now it's a beautiful day, and we want you indoors. So I realize it's an incredible sacrifice. I wanted to just give you a really general state of the district in broad strokes so you get a sense of projects that are going on in case they're of interest to you and you want to get involved in them. We have a wonderful district, some of the most beautiful people, buildings, and parks in the town. But we still have far too many homicides, too many children not focused on school, too many people inadequately housed and fed, and too many properties blighted and empty. Poverty of individuals and of cities is unfortunately on the rise. The financial collapse was heartbreaking in so many ways, not the least of which is seeing the development progress we made slipping away. But despite that, we have a great staff at your service in my office, Carletta Starks, who was already introduced in the back, Teresa Jackson, and Xiaojing Wang, who is now working half-time to save money. We will not be daunted by difficult times. In addition to all the regular meetings we attend and the office management we do, we have many, many initiatives, and I'll just really briefly go into all of them. Not all of them, some of them. The 25th Street Park was funded and is proceeding to be redeveloped after having a fence around it for far too long. The Teen Center for Market and Brockhurst is almost fully funded. The Lake Dog Park is getting closer. We're reapplying for funds for Durant Park since the first Prop 84 application wasn't successful. The lake projects are moving along, funded by Measure DD. Lakeshore Avenue traffic improvements seem to be working, and the landscaping at the lake is just beautiful. You'll notice I'm talking about the whole District 3, even though our meeting is here in West Oakland. We have a lot of other districts as well, and I know there are people here from the rest of the district, so I'm broadening from just West Oakland. The 7th Street streetscape improvements had to dance around the BART retrofit, so it's taking much longer than we'd hoped, but it's proceeding as well. The Transit Village Plan development is continuing, and these streetscape improvements will really enhance our ability to attract development there. We have several repaving projects going on with the little bit of money that we got for repaving. You'll see West Grand is getting repaved for the base now, and after the rainy season, we'll finish that one up. We're working with Caltrans. Now, this one is an interesting one. So all of you artists in the community or planning folks who have a creative bent, we're working with Caltrans to prepare photos for all the under-freeway locations in West Oakland, and there are many, 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 and they always put junky trucks and other awful things that we don't want there. So we're going to have a contest of what, within the parameters of what Caltrans can do and what we can do, what else could we have under these freeway spaces that would be more exciting and add beauty to our community? So think about that. We'll look forward to announcing that soon once we get all the photos ready. Gregory Hunter in redevelopment is working on a Tough on Blight program for West Oakland industrial property and for funding graffiti removal. That's if Jerry doesn't take all our state all our redevelopment money for the state. Because public safety is such a priority, I worked hard to get Measure BB passed so we could get our PSOs back and continue violence prevention programs. For me, public safety is achieved not only by police enforcement, but by programs that build people, economic development, and creating housing stability. The UC evaluation of the Restorative Justice Project we had at Cole just came out, and it's outstanding. I'm pleased to be working with my colleague on the school board, Jamoke Hodge, who I believe is here. Jamoke, raise your hand.
I'm sorry, I forgot to introduce you.
Jamoke and I are really trying to get restorative justice in the schools. She did a great job of introducing it as the discipline system for the school system, so we're very happy about that. We're also working on transforming the juvenile justice system to a restorative justice system. I believe that David Mohammed, who's coming on next week as our new probation chief in the county, will be very supportive of that. So that's a really other good sign. Many of you were as surprised as I was to have Cole School transformed to the police headquarters for the school district after such a successful restorative justice effort there, but we couldn't have a more caring OUSD chief of police than Pete Sarna, who was already introduced. On his own initiative, he had a summer program there for the young people, and I'm helping him now get a play structure so that they can have an even better summer this coming year. We're building relationships between our youth and our peace officers. That's essential for our future safety. It's an ongoing goal for me, and I hope it is for you as well. Pete is also working on some deep data analysis of youth homicides so we can get a better understanding of what needs to be done to prevent them. They are almost exclusively African-American male youth. Something is very wrong with that picture. And also Latino youth, but it's a small, very small piece. So we really need to look at what is causing this and really drill down into the data to make sure that we make a difference in that area. And Chief Batts is looking forward to working with Pete on this tragic and chronic problem. The police department is losing officers through retirement. We have to find funds for a new academy. Mayor Quan and I will also work with Laney College to see what partnerships we can make to train officers, not just in the basics of being a sworn officer, but beyond that to learn how to de-escalate problems, how to make people in the neighborhood feel like they care about making us safe, and the city needs to be sure that we have the reliable equipment they need to do their job. Carletta attends most of the NCPC meetings in District 3 and reports back the issues and trends that are of concern. We bring that to our service delivery system team, and raise your hand if you're on our service delivery system team in District 3. We have some folks here, over there. We try to deal with the most complicated problems that are crossing disciplines and then make a little dent in making it happen. And I know it's very frustrating with all the layoffs, how long things take to get done, but we're really working on it. Carletta is also coordinating an effort to have stay-away orders to keep people who come from out of town to do drug dealing in our neighborhoods. We want to make sure that they do not feel comfortable being here and that we make sure that they do not come here on a regular basis. We're also developing an Eyes on the Street of a campaign of volunteers united against illegal dumping. So if you have an interest in being the eyes on the street for your block, please contact Carletta and she'll put you in on the team. When she was on the council, I worked with the mayor to find funding for loans to landlords for soft story structures. These are buildings that are multifamily buildings that are very unsafe for earthquakes. We haven't found that funding yet, but we have a wonderful affordable housing project that's just about to open on Fairmont and Pearl that rebuilt that house. We'll have a wonderful new design that will keep the illegal activity that was happening over on Pearl and Fairmont in that area from continuing. Councilmember Bruner and I have been facilitating workshops on the Army base and how it can benefit the community. I host an adult literacy task force to assure there's some programs now that OUSD had to cancel all of their adult programs. Working with the school district to plan for a manufacturing high school at McClymonds. If you're interested in that project, we really want to see jobs for our young people, from line jobs to engineering jobs to running the company. So we're really hoping that our effort to model a school after what happened in Chicago at Austin Polytech will be successful. We're always working on air pollution issues, trying to get some of our recyclers out to the Army base and building a state-of-the-art facility there. We have some good new planning staff on the West Oakland redevelopment project. Again, if we don't lose that money, we'll have some great new projects coming out of that. Working on food policy access, we have some stores, a food store opening in West Oakland. I think Target is going to have some food, and we want to get a larger space for Mandela Foods. And we're also working on food policy to address some of these wonderful chef entrepreneurs who have mobile vans and create a buzz like Art Murmur with a food murmur. So we're looking for some sites for them to locate. We've cleaned up the area up above Wood Street so that when Target opens, it'll really be wonderful. And I really thank the people from WOCA, West Oakland Commerce Association, for working so hard to get the railroads to clean up the tons and tons and tons of garbage that was removed from there. We're working on an uptown retail-specific plan. Jack London neighbors are working on a parking project, and we explored a quiet zone to deal with the train noise. It's a little more out of our financial range at this time, but it's on our wish list. We have some extraordinary active neighborhoods. Old Oakland is really amazing. We have a new group of folks working on the San Pablo corridor, a lot of social service folks. Didosio, I saw, was here, Alex Cole Miller, St. Vincent de Paul, St. Mary's, Ibalsi, EBCRP, Healthy Oakland, and from the private sector, Ed Hammett, all came together, and Ed Hammett just opened that wonderful food store, Produce Pro, and we're really trying to get more retail along there. We're keeping the Broadway shuttle going, always looking for funds for that free shuttle, and thanks city staff for doing such a great job with that. The zoning update is going to be coming to CEDA on Tuesday. If you haven't paid attention because it seems very dry and you don't really know how it affects you, please pay attention. It can really affect your neighborhood. Look at it on the website, come to the meeting, come to CEDA, come to the City Council, and see how the zoning will affect your neighborhood. There's lots more in the works, but I have to be quiet so that you can all have a chance to talk. And please ask us if you're interested in any of those projects. Like I said, Carletta's in the back. I'll be here for a while as well. And we want to get you involved in working to make District 3 even better than it already is. Thank you so much.
Okay, now it's going to be your chance to talk. We have 8 volunteer leaders, the discussion group. Can I get them up here while I make a couple of announcements? You're going to come here, you're going to tell each person what the subject is and which part of the room you're going to be in. Okay? All right, so first of all, a lot of information. A little cynicism in the city, but you know, lately the city seems a little bit more hopeful. And so you notice my little slogan from the inaugural, new dreams, new ways. I think the city sometimes, we have so many problems. People forget how beautiful, how diverse, and how wonderful it is. If you have any doubts, look at the snowstorm being dug out of New York City. Think about how great it is here today. I used to live in New York, and I was like thinking, this is why it was good to move home.